Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles of the Bust number 631. Today we'll be doing battle with the Ranger backpack battles. And so, apologies for the delay in content. Sometimes life gets in the way. It's a little unfortunate when you're not able to come out here, do battle every single day, bring you that content that everyone loves to have in their life. But it is what it is. We're here now. Let's hit that new game button. See if something cool turns up. And so, if you remember back to those videos from 4 or 5 days ago, I tend to just try and go hero sword every single game. And so that's what we're going to be looking to do here as well. I have changed up a fair bit of my early game since that last video. We'll see if it comes into play here. But the things I really want to get out of this early game with are going to be 2 stones. I want to have a stone bag, and then I want to have some bows. And then after that, I just want to be kind of on track to making that hero sword. So whatever we can do to get on that track is going to be good. We got a stone here, which is fine. An on sale walrus tusk, I like that. We still have the money to take a roll, see if anything better turns up along the way. So now we do have an on sale wooden buckler. I'm okay with this. I've started to kind of move away from going with these wooden bucklers. Early, it feels like as the game has progressed, people have kind of figured out that the melee weapons are a little bit weaker in the early game with the strength of the shields coming up. And so it can be very painful if you come out in the early game, you invest 8 gold in a upgraded wooden buckler, and then the opponent just ignores it, right? If we're here in the early game, you have access to like 30 gold. You've spent around a third of it on this buckler. It feels pretty bad, but it's still a fairly strong item that you keep until the very late game. And so with it on sale, the tusk on sale, I'm happy to take it. If we had a bow, I would upgrade the bow before the buckler, but that's not an option here. And now we do need to pick up a second weapon, which we can get out of the pan. And then we have this garlic up top, give us just a little bit of sustain. And so not the worst start, it's not terrible. I don't hate it. I don't love it, don't hate it. We should be okay here, though. Gym box starts tend to be not very good. Got him. Okay, so we got our first whetstone. Definitely going to be snatching that up this round. There is the potential to want to just like swap over to the spear. The spear does carry fairly hard in the early rounds, but we don't quite have the money for it. We have to completely sell off this pan. That would only give us $2 back. We'd have to sell some other stuff. Doesn't really feel worth a lock either, and so I'm just going to hope that this whetstone upgrade is enough to power us through the round here. Seems like we should be okay. I think we're stronger than our friend here. He hasn't upgraded to his second weapon yet, and so good stuff there. All right, good deal. The upgrades continue, and so we can probably sell off this pan at this point. That feels good. Want to be picking up the bows, want to pick up the second stone. We do have access to a healing herbs up here. I definitely like healing herbs in this patch, so we'll go ahead and add that in as well. Just so strong in these early rounds to where the battle isn't immediately over, right? If it's going to be like a super fast battle, then you want shields and stuff. But if it's going to be a sustained kind of battle, then you're typically happier with things like healing herbs. Otherwise, we could pick up the piggy bank here. It'll sell. If we just sell it next round, we'll break even on money. If we end up keeping it for a little bit longer, we'll of course make more money on the endeavor. So it's not a complete waste. Maybe this this 4 health will be exactly what we need to win the battle here. All right, grinding them on out. Glad we picked up those herbs. Thought opponent was going to run out of stamina here. There we go. We just killed him before it mattered. All right. Good job, Bust. Well done. And so, okay, the big point of the early game here, the thing that I'll say here is I want to be finding the whetstone one, right? The whetstone thing is what really projects you into what I think the best builds are with the hero longsword. Don't have access to it. Smelly Wall is fine. The thing with Smelly Wall is it kind of pushes us in this direction of chasing down the garlics. And so if we do find ourselves going down this path with the Smelly Wall and the garlics in a food build, I tend to want to push these wooden swords into a hero sword and then make a hero goobert, have a big sustain armor heavy type of build. And so we'll keep that in mind as the rounds progress. Otherwise, it's just strong early. We don't have to carry this Smelly Wall into the late game. You tend to not want to be playing these ranger-based food builds into the survival rounds anyways, and so we might find ourselves just picking it up and selling it later on. But reasonable enough stuff here. No whetstones, which is a bit unfortunate. I do want to pick up this banana, and then I'm going to take a roll here. We have a couple dollars left. I want to be looking for these common whetstones here as hard as we can, and this is going to be our best chance to find them. We did find a garlic. I guess we'll stop there. I don't want to be like locking and rolling, as it's just a little bit too expensive. Okay, I think we're kind of okay here. I mean, we do have the short bow that ignores the opponent's thorns. Just another reason why I'm kind of down on this buckler in this patch. Just a lot of incentive to go for ranged weapons. And so the opponent is getting some benefit out of those thorns with our crappy sword poking at it. But we got that bow here to save the day. All right, so let's see what we can do. We definitely need to be upgrading our weapons. Our weapons are pretty shitty at this point, right? Just with the short bow and the wooden sword. And a pretty interesting topic here with the on-sale pestilence flask turning up. And so with these garlics, the way I tend to go for these smelly wall kind of builds is I start to come out and look towards going for the big bowl of treats, right? We get the pet activations off of this thing. We get the bonus activations off of the hero gooberts. And then what we're going to look to do is have those hero goober or those hero sword gooberts, whatever it's called, but then have them activate onto stones. And so with that in mind, I typically don't push towards clover things, and then I typically push towards thorns, but these pestilence flasks into the short bows are pretty decent. It's going to give us a fairly strong weapon right now, as to where the clovers aren't really doing too much, right? If we're not going to build towards the clover thing, then I look to typically just sell these. So we'll skip past that. And oh, an interesting round here. We've got access to a mana orb and broom, and I'm definitely on board with this. I don't like really chasing after these wand builds, but if it's going to present itself to us here, I'm more than happy to just take it. And so let's see how we can rearrange here and try and make all of this work. If we sell off the pig, we sell off the clover, that's going to get us up to 8 gold. We can at least pick up the bag and pick up the broom. We're not going to be able to afford the mana orb this round, which is okay. Need to get our bow upgrading. Need to get our other garlic out here. Okay, not bad. And so, yeah, the things that I think we'll be looking for here, we need a whetstone to make that hero goobert. We'll need a goobert as well, but those tend to turn up along the way. And then from that point, I think we're just strong. I think we're good. I think we're okay. So let's see how this plays out. Yeah, we need that that hero goobert, though, is where we need to kind of push right now. All right. Interesting collection of items out here. Not certain if we can kill this guy fast enough before the poison kicks up. We do have the garlic walls out here doing a bit of work. They do have a bit of synergy with that pestilence flask we picked up, and so it's something, right? it's definitely not nothing. All right, so we got our mana orb. Beautiful. Here's a goobert on board with that. Don't necessarily need to pick it up this round. We can just go ahead and pick up this bag now and get the goobert next round. I think I'm okay with that. Let's get to going. Hopefully this will be like the weakest round we have for a while. And up against like a shovel bro, I think that we're okay. We're not super strong. It feels like the high roll that we've had this game is not so much the build that we've assembled, but we've faced against some fairly suspect builds out of these opponents. Getting those poisons stacking up. Good work, team. All right. Here come the upgrades. Right, we got the goobert here. We've got the whetstone. The thing that I meant to call out earlier when we were trying to find the upgrades for our hero sword is we need to get this this bag for the stones. What we're going to see is we'll get this hero goobert out here. It's going to do the scaling thing when it attacks, right? We get the activations and it gives the weapons the bonus damage, and we're going to put that bonus damage onto those stones that just keep attacking over and over and over and over again. It's going to be our scaling DPS that we get out of this build. I think we covered off on doing this in the last video, but That's going to be our big point of strength in this game, is scaling up that way. And so we'll see how it comes together. Let's roll a little bit more, see if anything interesting turns up. We have the acorn collar to make the magic staff, and then I think that's where we'll stop rolling. And so let's see what we can do here. We got to get our hero sword in. We need to get it in upgrade mode. We can rearrange these bags just a little bit so that we can fit the wand in here vertically. Which of these attacks faster? The wand does. We'll end up doing something like, well, I mean, if we're only having one thing activating on the Goobert, I guess that's fine. Like, I'm not excited about it, but it's just going to be the one round here. It is kind of the bummer of this game when you like see obvious places to optimize, and you're just like, is it really worth it just for one round? And it's not going to be at the moment. Reasonable enough stuff otherwise, right? So we got our magic staff going, our wooden sword upgrading, our Goobert will upgrade next round. We locked in the collar. Okay, we're getting places. And so yeah, from this point, I think we'll look for like the big bow, that does poison stuff. I think that'll be a reasonable thing to chase after. Defensive, something to make mana, and then that stone bag. Like, those will be the things that we need to find the remainder of the way. Not going to focus in too much on food or too much on these pet themes, although I do want to find this big bowl of treats. I guess it is like a little interesting to potentially go for poison ivy, in the sense that, you know, if we do deal all of this poison damage off of the bows, we do have that potential to get the big damage out of this thing. But I think as you like look towards what a poison build does, is it's going to be a scaling type build that needs a bit of time to build up. And I think that that's just what the Beastmaster is going to be doing a little bit better here. And so Beastmaster it is. We want to get the acorn collar. Some good food here with both the garlic and the blueberries for mana, and the big boy that we needed, the bag of stones. And so everything turning together, just a absolutely fantastic shop for us this round. Let's see if we got enough bag space to get these things started. I guess we don't have to go for the stones this round. This might be a pretty reasonable time just to take the stones out, because we're going to want to get the upgrade to the Hero Goobert first, right? It's not particularly strong without the Hero Goobert, and so I think this is probably the way to go. Just take these stones out for the round. We might still have enough space for them somewhere, but it's not going to be the real highlight of our build or anything. Maybe we even take this shield out. Just do whatever we can to get these garlics up and running. It is a touch awkward with this space we have over to the left. And I'm not certain, you do get to a point to where you just want to put the smelly wall up next to the Goobert. It does count as an activation whenever you gain this 20 armor. I think we're a little bit away from that at the moment, though. Not exactly what we're needing to do. All right, let's just do this. I'm going to put the blueberries in, so we maybe get an activation off of the magic staff. Don't have high expectations this round, but might do something. And then I think we're getting off to good shape here. Cryomancer doesn't have too many cryo things. Spent a lot on those amulet upgrades over there that don't really synergize. Boomed him. Okay, fam. Let's get this stuff up and running. And so, got a bag here. I think again, like we need to spend a little bit more stamina. I think the big stamina spend we're going to look for now is the belladonnas. I wouldn't be opposed to another shade, just another debuff planter, I guess. But I think the big damage one is what we need to be finding in this space. And so we'll see if those items turn up. They weren't there. Just pick up the bag. We definitely need the slots this round. Bunch of garbage otherwise. And then we do have access to some pets. Probably not terrible. That's my that's my expectation of quality. Probably not terrible. So, so yeah, I appreciate that, friend. I appreciate you not being terrible. So there we go. We got our scaling rocks in here. Wonder we need to figure out how we want to get our activators for the one side of this goobert. I was leaning towards just using the rat, and then we can try and put the critwood staff still within the bag. It's not ultra critical to have the critwood staff within the bag since it just generates crits a lot, but we don't have a ton of mana generation at this point, so I don't want to get too crazy with leaving it out of the bag at this point. Now things will be a touch awkward until we get our bags figured out the rest of the way. Only hitting 2 garlics with the smelly wall, I guess that's fine. Not seeing a way to immediately rearrange this and get the spiked shield in. Like, I guess we could do something like this. Maybe that's okay. So that we aren't just, like, wasting, like, going into battle with 5 hexes open, even though it's not as optimal on our foods. I think it's fine. All right, battle time. Let's see how it goes. And so the other interesting thing that'll come about is if we get a big bow, you can put it to where, I'll just take a monster crit off that busted blade, but you can put it to where it activates the goobert and it gets the bonuses off of the goobert. We'll see if that comes into play here. So, all right, what are we going to take with these? I have found hardwood to be like kind of interesting in these builds, right? The thing that I've kind of decided with hardwood is if you're willing to pay 7 gold for 45 armor out of a leather armor, like, are you really that upset to get 50 armor out of a 5 gold 1 hex item, right? It's not that bad. You do have to, like, really be pushing for healing herbs to make it feel worthwhile, right? If you take a look at our build here, if you imagine we hadn't sunk the healing herbs into the chef, then we would have the herbs, the 2 stones, and the banana, and all of these garlics as potential ways to activate the healing herbs or the hardwood. And so it's pretty good in that sense. But the build really has to kind of dictate where that comes about. And so I've kind of like changed my opinion on this. It has upped in the amount of armor that it gives. Like, I feel like last patch it gave 7, and it was initially released it gave 5. And so it's taken it a while to get up this high, but I think it's definitely a decent item. What I'm not certain with is if the armor we get off of it is just better than the healing that we get out of the power of the moon. We've currently got 150 health, and if we hit fatigue, that would heal 75. So we would need 8 items out of the hardwood to make it better. But that also plays under the assumption that we get to fatigue, right? If we're up against a big OTK build, then the hardwood is going to be stronger, right? If you're dead before you hit fatigue, the power of the moon doesn't do anything. And then the kind of minor advantage of the hardwood is it does activate the smelly wall. So if it like pops for 60 armor right at the beginning, it'll put an immediate 3 poison on the opponent. And I guess that's enough. The thing we're really looking for here is stoned, right? Stoned works fantastically with these stones scaling up with the skill goobert, but it just wasn't an option. All right, so what are we going to do here? Definitely want the bag. I'm not really amped about picking up more of these rat chefs. It's just not what our build really needs within it. So I'm going to skip past the rat here. A little interested in the other short bow. Again, we do need to be spending this stamina, and upgrading it to another belladonna's wouldn't be terrible, but I do want the big bow, not the little bow. So I think I'll skip past it. We at least have a round or 2 before that's really painful. Now we've got another garlic along with a bag. I think that'll be okay here. So let's see. Definitely want to get as much out of these smelly walls and as much out of these hardwoods as we can. Let's see how we can set this up. If we get hardwood kind of like this. Not 100% certain to where it's going to be the most effective. Trying to make sure we get these stones in it. We can push another garlic up to the top, or we can push a banana up there. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to get the banana up at the top, but think this is okay. Get all of our activators like this, and see, that's what I was kind of leaning towards with hardwood. As the battle starts, we're going to gain 70 armor. That's not so bad, right? You heard it here first. Bust declared it not so bad. Now we don't really have a location for this armor if we do it this way. Just got to rearrange a little bit more. Now we should be back to good, right? All the garlics are in the wall. 4 7 stars on the hardwood. We got our spiked shield in. I'm going to lock this blueberries. It's pretty on theme with what we're doing. And our weapons suck right now. We're really counting on this crit wood staff to do some work. Otherwise, we don't do a ton of damage. Maybe we should just be putting this crit wood staff up at the top on the steel goobert. I was like, they always get me. I was like, all right, this is a nice grind for us. It seems like things are going okay. And then I got to realize that they haven't even hit their first res yet. But not bad. We got the mana generator in the blueberries. We got one in the mana orb. I'm not opposed to picking up flutes, but we're not really on theme with it, right? We don't need the clovers. The armor we're kind of good enough with at the moment, and so it's just a stamina generator. I think I'll skip past those with these build. Otherwise, Shield of Valor on sale is quite good. Just getting the armor activations off of the hardwood and off of the steel gooberts and stuff is quite good. So definitely want to be adding it in. Probably just sell off the spiked shield at this point. Let's take a roll and see if anything interesting turns up. Not super interesting, but we do have a protective purse. So yeah, I think I'm on board with this. Just like moving the crit wood staff up to the top, and then we can maybe do something like this for the moment to where we get the better shield activations on the steel goobert. We can upgrade the moon shield into the better shield, which is going to be good, right? This does give us the mana bonuses that we need for our crit wood staff. We'll need to look to move hardwood into a better spot. This is where the rearranges are going to get a bit nasty, but I think we're getting somewhere. All right, is that looking good? Did we lose out on anything? I think that's fine. Then we got the rat chef in here. Not the greatest rat chef, but I think it'll be okay. All right. Not feeling great about this round. This guy should probably way outscale us in terms of poison, but hopefully after this round we'll be a little bit stronger. And oh shit, we just zinged him. We just blasted him with that crit wood staff at the end. Good deal. Okay, so poison flask, good deal. If we can find that bow that we're looking for, then we'll definitely be on point. We could ignore the bows and just pick up this last short bow, I guess. Then there's the on sale holy armor, which I'm interested in, but we're going to need to wait around to pick up. So maybe we do this, right? We just take the short bow, put it in, get the upgrade on it. Now, what I think is going to be challenging for me is I think our moon shield needs to go here. And then we need our hardwood to still function, right? And so maybe we just don't need to worry about min-maxing this board too much. And then maybe just say, like, we shift these over and get one more hex out here to the end. It's not like a purely optimized situation for these garlics, but it's not the end of the world. Right, still doing something like this. We've got all of the garlics in the smelly wall, a couple of them on the moon shield. Then the hardwood is hitting 6 instead of 7, but it is getting that bonus off of the moon shield. I think that's fine. I don't think we need to work too hard on this. I think the other like option, I guess, is doing this. Getting a little bit better activations out of the big bowl of treats. It hits a few more things this way. I think that's fine. I like where we're going. So here we go, reserve the holy armor. Hit that button. We should immediately scale up a bunch of mana now, right? Get 5 at the start. That'll hit the crit wood on the first activation. Really gets us up and running with those crits coming in. Zinging them. All right, and so I think we're good enough to go into the survival rounds. I mean, I feel like we've been hitting pretty hard here at some of these late game rounds, and so let's do it. Let's do it. This seems like if we've got 6 rounds left, I think if we get out of this with like 1 star, that's pretty believable, right? We would be going 2 wins and I guess 3 wins, 3 losses at 50-50. I got to think we can do better than 50-50. Let's go for it. Let's do it. So holy armor coming in. Need some bags and stuff at this point. We've got 8, 10. Like we definitely need the stamina sack to get the holy armor in. I was a little interested in picking up this healing herbs, at least for 1 round. It's not spectacular, but I thought we might be able to fit it in around the hardwood. I guess that's not going to be the case, but we're still okay strong. All right, another garlic user out here. Kicking things off with 8 mana and a bunch of poison on the opponent. Definitely feels good. Zinged him. Mark it a W for bust. Okay, okay. Moving on, moving up. And so, with this, definitely want the fanny pack. Not super interested in this other stuff. I don't think we're going to be really fitting in more bows at this point. Maybe if we find another pestilence flask, we'll want a bow, but not super interested in it. Let's just get past it. It's not really on theme. Definitely want the blueberries. Not opposed to Wolpentinger, just to ensure that our mana doesn't sink out, but it's pretty expensive at this point. Let's come back to it. Now we've got a bunch of bags to fit in. It's probably where we want to be. Get those in. Might as well just pick up the on sale healing herbs. We can come back and get more bags later on. It's not that big a deal. Alright, I think we're good. These aren't common, right? The blueberries. I was thinking with the hardwood, it's been a while. Like, I think when I first started playing backpack battles that the clovers were not rare, right? I think that the OTK Rangers were so strong that they had to take the clover from common to rare so that it was harder to find them. And I was trying to think how bonkers it would be doing clover OTK builds with hardwood, where you just start out and just immediately gain 150 armor. Like, I thought that would have been pretty sick. It's probably very good that they're no longer common, but I think that was the case. I'm not 100% certain if my memory's serving me there. All right, up against a heal, bro. Got a big collection of poison on him right at the start. Crits are starting to come in. I think we're okay. He didn't really do anything. Hi, GG. Okay, so interesting stuff here. We do start to have things like Squirrel. We aren't really in a Squirrel build, and so I'm not super interested in picking this up, but I also don't want to be at the point here to where I roll 7 times and don't add anything to our build, right? We really just want to find an upgrade to the holy armor. Other armors would be fine, garlics would be fine, but they're going to be tough to come across at this point. I think it's a valid question. Do we want to just get more damagey stuff in? I mean, that's what we would get out of the squirrel and the bow, right? I think it's an okay add. Get that bag to fill out the rest of the space here. Puts us up to high stamina. That might be a struggle for this round. We don't have a lot of stamina regen out here, right? We don't have a Wolpentinger. We don't have yellow potions. It's just the banana and the rat. So my expectations aren't that great with this. The fuck was all going on here? It's like I saw the triple armor, but then he's also working with the piercing arrow to clear all of our armor. Interesting set. All right, I guess that guy's been added to our build. It doesn't feel like that was the best addition. Let's do this though. Let's get this fanny pack up here in a little bit better spot. All right, now our build is perfect. But let's see here. I'm a little interested in the glowing crown. I think the big thing we need to find at this point are mana orbs or prismatic orbs. But having the single glowing crown should be pretty good. So I'm going to add that one in. I do have an on sale flute out here. Does work with the holy armor a little bit. No, it's a magic. So it would work with the holy armor once it gets upgraded. Like, I guess we could do that. It seems like, at least at this point, it's probably better than healing herbs. And so, look at that. Look at that monster activation set that it gets here. It's hitting on 2 items. That's pretty big. That's pretty big time. Ugh. It's got to at least be better out here, right? Like, I'm not going to put a ton of work into this thing, but that's at least a much better, much better location out here to the right. Okay, let's hit him. All right, another pyromancer coming at us. He's just gotten stamina'd out, hasn't drained our armor yet. I think we're going to be okay this round. He hasn't got his res yet, though. Pretty heavy set of blinds on us. I'm not certain how much that matters. We're getting worn down now. Tough. Didn't get enough poison stack on him, I guess. All right, 2 rounds to go. Let's see what we can do. Definitely want to pick up the bag to fill out this space. We can pick up the garlic. That's fine. Just need that mana orb and prismatic orb kind of thing. We have good scaling, so we don't need an oil lamp. It is a bit odd not having any crowns at this point, but I guess we can at least upgrade the corrupted armor out here. Okay, so we got this other garlic in. Seems like our hardwoods got messed up. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought we had 6 on it. Guess not. Oh, we had 6 on it when we were doing this. Was that the case? Okay, sure. Go back to how it was. Alright. Let's get him. It is a little awkward when we kick off this round and then immediately spend the 10 on the invulnerable. It is a bit of a bummer in the sense that, like, your opponent hasn't had the chance to scale up, and then you do also, you know, lose out on those immediate crits right at the beginning. And so I wish that wasn't the case, but it kind of is what it is. All right, so we got the corrupted armor upgrade, got a garlic, got a protective purse. Still okay with this cap of resilience, even though we don't intend to get it upgraded. Nothing here. Bag's too big. Everything else is too expensive. Don't think we're interested in any of this stuff, although we are running out of money at this point. Could just put the lump of coal into something. Yeah, nothing else we can afford. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any more hexes to where we can get the garlic? Like, I don't want to do some kind of massive rearrange here, but I would like to at least get these in here in some way. Maybe this is okay. 2, 3, 4. We've got 6 on the garlic and then 6 on the hardwood. Seems fine. Get our rat chef in here. I think we have to sell the healing herbs to get the hat in. Okay, I don't hate it. Spend that money. See what we can do. Definitely getting out of this with at least a try left, and so that's a positive, right? Up against a OTK Ranger. We survived that initial burst, but it's the kind of bummer to to the start. It's one of the things I've always kind of disliked about these mana builds with the crowns is you right if your opponent if like if you wanted to take like the start of this battle for example, I don't think this opponent immediately kicked off with 15 clovers, right? This is like exactly what you don't want to be doing with the crit ranger is you want to be immediately starting this round with the 15. He didn't hit the 15 until a little bit in. I guess he did hit it right at the start. So I take back the trash I was talking. But at this point, right, the opponent has just like the 5 empowered and hasn't really picked up any scaling from the Gen Lamp or from the magic torches or anything. And so if you look at his like his main weapons at 1 second in, when we're out here with our big thing happening, our big invulnerable, right? It's a 7 deeps magic wand, a 6 deeps fortunas, and a 5 deeps fortunas. Like that's not particularly compelling. That's not a great place to be using the invulnerable. But if we come down here at the end, right, he's got the 29 deeps fortunas, the 22 deeps torch, and the 12 deeps fortunas, and so it's a much better place to be activating that glowing crown in the mid game when your opponent scales, as opposed to just like right at the very start of the battle. And so I wish there was a way for these mana builds to put some kind of delay on the glowing crown because it is the best armor in the game. But another thing to just call out with this round is if we'd upgraded our cap of resilience and cracked some of his luck right at the beginning, he wouldn't have immediately hit the 15 and we would have won the round. And so that's what it is. I'm getting rambly. I think this was a good build, a good time. I'm definitely glad with how this panned out. We got to have a magic build that actually came out and got a win. I wanted to see where this got us. Plus 10, go us. But the kind of overarching theme that I'm going to be hitting on here in Backpack Battles before we switch over to the Bazaar is every single game we're going to be making a hero sword. We want to be making it a hero longsword. We take that hero longsword and we try and go crit ranger with it. Like that's going to be our bread and butter LP game. And then with every other build, we're just going to try and not lose LP. And so having games like this to where we get to the end without losing and actually getting a pretty big gain is a highly positive thing. Because this is the kind of build that I'm basically just trying to take out to not lose with, since we didn't hit that big staff. But, you know, a very interesting and powerful thing that we got to set off here. We got the transition with the hero sword into the steel goobert. The steel goobert comes in, upgrades these stones, upgrades whatever other weapon. It's fine. It gives us a lot of sustain with this armor stuff. That's all well and good. And then we got to showcase hardwood a little bit. This is an item that I trashed on pretty heavy in the beginning, but has definitely I've grown fonder of with these style of builds to where, you know, we have a big garlic wall or we have a bunch of healing herbs or something, and we go for these stones pretty much every single game. I think if you get in that mindset to where the hardwood is just a 5 gold, 1 hex, 50 armor item, then it's not that bad. And so I'm glad we at least got to showcase that out here just a little bit. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.